So today I want to talk about some reasons the anxious, preoccupied individual fears abandonment, because that is one of their main trauma, is fear of abandonment. This is Dr. Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change. So guys, please help me out by liking this video, sharing it with others you think may benefit from it, and also subscribe to my channel. That way, as soon as I upload another video, you will be notified. It also helps if you hit the notification belt. Not the bell. Sorry. All right. So one of the first reasons is that they have this. Anxious people are usually insecure. That's one of the problems. They are insecure about themselves, their self-worth, they're insecure about their relationships because they were insecure as children with their, about their relationships with their caregivers. They may doubt that they doubt their own self-worth, so because of the way that maybe they were abandoned and they felt that people didn't care for them to want to be around them. So they grew up with this low self-worth, right? And they always believe that they're not really good enough. They're not good enough. And they always fear that feeling of rejection or being abandoned because of this feeling of that they're not good enough. Now, one of the things about that the anxious is that I was watching the other day something on social media where this little child, this baby, the baby was actually in their seat, like a car seat, right? And this baby was left in a car while the mother was in a place doing a manicure and pedicure. Left in a car, windows all wound up, car is off, no air conditioner, because really that would be a thing to leave the car on because people could go in and drive away with the baby as well, which wouldn't surprise me if this person did that, because if they were able to leave that child out there in the heat, windows all wound up, baby in the car seat, she is inside a manicure, getting her manicure and pedicure done. So this child, if this is something that happens on a regular basis, this child is going to grow up fearing abandonment. They're going to grow up feeling that when that person leaves, they never even know if they're coming back, right? Because if you can leave a child, if you can feel that you can leave a little helpless child out by themselves in a car or anywhere else for that matter, what else have they done? So that child is going to grow up with a fear of abandonment because they cannot trust that this person will take care of them, one, or they trust that that person will be there for them if they need them, because if they can just leave them out there like randomly like that, they feel unsafe. So in relationships, these children are very insecure and they feel very unsafe in relationships. And this carries forward into their adult relationship, guys. So this doesn't just stay there. I think that most people think that little babies are brainless. They don't realize that everything at that age, they're absorbing it. They may not be able to process it, but they're absorbing every single thing. The feeling, the fear, the abandonment, all of those things. And that is what's going to play out in their lives later on when they get older. The next thing is that the second one is the trauma of negative experiences in their past, such as that abandonment. And the short-term abandonment that I was talking, which is not really short-term, really, if a person can leave a child somewhere. If they did that in a car, I'm guessing that this person even goes out to the club at night and leave the child at home by themselves to fend for themselves, leave them probably in their playpen to do whatever it is that they do, and then come back home, going to the club or going out or doing whatever they're doing and leave the child there. I'm guessing that this is a pattern, right? So this that produces negative experiences and trauma for that child, right? This is very traumatic for a child when the person that you're depending on for your survival cannot be found. So therefore, something like that can really cause that fear of abandonment. And so when that woman comes back now, or when that parent comes back, could be a man, I don't know, could be a single dad, single mom, that child is not going to cling on to that child, to that mother, and cry and cry and cry and cry. And of course, I'm sure that the mother is not going to be very empathetic and hold the child and whatever. They're probably going to say, shut up. If that is the person that you're dealing with, that's what can be expected. So these children is going to grow up with deep-seated fear of being abandoned. So as I mentioned, it's going to go up they're going to grow up with that fear of abandonment, and it's going to transfer into their adult relationships. It doesn't even matter if it's just it's more magnified in intimate relationships because you're closer, but it happens also with friendships, just casual female to female friendships, or other kind of family members or something like that. They get very fearful of being abandoned, right? These individuals with that anxious, preoccupied attachment style has low self-esteem, usually because they believe that if this person who is my parent or my caregiver does not love me enough to be here for me when I need them, they just leave me and go about their business, whatever they're doing, then they're going to feel unworthy of being loved or any kind of attention from others, right? And they're going to believe that their partners or friends are going to do the same to them like their caregivers or their parents did when they were young, because they just feel like they're not good enough. So there's this constant anxiety around relationships, constantly anxious. These individuals are constantly anxious about relationships. They need these relationships, but then they're fearful when they're in it because they're always suspecting the person is going to leave them, and they actually look for them to leave them. And so this can cause a lot of problems with their partners as well, because for somebody who might be secure, or somebody who might even be avoidant, it's going to cause problems either way. So it's good for you. If you're somebody who with this anxious style, guys, you need to heal from all of these traumas that you've had to kind of deal with from your childhood. It is something that you have to process, and it's something that you have to heal. And that is what I do. So reach out to me if you need help with just processing these things. And sometimes you don't even realize that these are things that happen that's causing you to feel the way you are, because you've just stuffed it or you never processed it. Right, but it's been running under your subconscious way of doing things and feeling and interacting in your relationships, and it's become a habit. It's become normal for you. So sometimes you can't even tell that there is a problem. You just know you see the consequences and the repercussions and the workings of when you're in a relationship, of how you behave, but you don't know why. You don't know why you behave that way, and you don't understand why it is that these people always leave, because it's like you're anxious about relationship and you tend to push people away, because some people just can't take that kind of anxiety. A lot of, when you're in a relationship, you want to feel at rest and peaceful. And if you're constantly anxious and asking questions, where are you, where you been, where you going, where, all of that stuff, or how you didn't answer my call, all of those things, right? It's going to cause problems in your relationship. One of the main reasons that someone fears abandonment or fears not being in a relationship is because they have a fear of being alone. They fear loneliness. They feel that because they've always been left alone a lot of times, and they never know when that person is coming back. They crave the company of others. They crave almost like they want a certainty that you'll be there for them, whatever, whenever, which is never never good, because guess what? Nobody can promise you that, because life happens. You could say, okay, I'll be there that time and think, but maybe you run late for whatever reason, other responsibilities, accidents, death, all of that, right? So you need to work on this fear also of the feeling that being alone is almost like the end of the world, that you're going to die. And so that is why that also pushes you as an anxious person into relationships that's not good for you, because your focus is on just not being alone. So you'll be with anyone who approaches you, right? Or even you approach and they accept. Because a lot of times too, for the anxious, because you're afraid of being alone, you will actually push to have relationships. You will go seeking out relationships. Not, if you like somebody, you are going to be the one who's pursuing them. Even if you're a female, you're the one pursuing them, because you have this need, this craving to always have somebody with you. You can't be by yourself for long. You get very, like you don't know what to do with yourself. You have to have someone with you. So this fear of being alone, you need constant reassurance and attention from others. You need this reassurance, you need this attention. You just need that because you never got it, and so now you crave it. And so but you can't expect others to do these things for you. Yes, there is a normal thing of you need to get from your partner reassurance and attention, but your partner cannot be there for you 24/7, 365 days a year, right? All the time. So therefore you have to be in a place where you're healed enough so you're comfortable being alone. I am so happy that at this point in my life, I am so comfortable being alone. I've been alone for years and years and years, and people wonder, oh my God. When I say alone, I mean alone in new cities. I don't know anyone. And I've done that like 2 times now. I've been alone. I'm by myself. And you have to get to that place where you are fine being alone. Yes, I have people around me and stuff, and I know them and stuff like that. But, I didn't go somewhere that I knew someone then. Let's put it that way. So this is something that, you will struggle with when you're someone with an anxious, preoccupied attachment style. The other thing is that you have this need for control, because you feel you can control others. And you feel that if you're able to control someone, then that means that you can basically control them to that you'll have them around you whenever you want them to be, or so you have this need for control because you fear that if your partner or your friends leave, then you can it's like you've lost control over their life and their emotions, because you feel that you should have control. So you're very into people's stuff, you're dictating what they need. You want them to do what you say. You want them to act the way that you want them to act, feeling that if you control somebody, it will kind of take away that anxiety. But you have to work on that anxiety yourself. You cannot depend on others to soothe you, so you don't feel, to live their life for you, so you don't feel anxious. You have to work on you. You can only change you. You can't change others or control others. You can't do that. The next thing is, this reassurance, as I say, you have this constant need for reassurance from others, which was developed from your childhood. You never got that reassurance, and so now you crave it. You need it, right? You have to be able to be in a place, heal yourself, heal those traumas, so that you don't need to depend on others for reassurance. You can reassure yourself. You're confident in who you are, so you can reassure yourself of, you're comfortable, you're confident, you're solid. You don't need to be outsourcing your joy and your peace to others. Someone with the anxious, preoccupied attachment style also have what they call cognitive distortions, right? So when something happens, instead of really waiting to find out what really happened, you'll make up all of these stories around it before you hear. Say, for example, you have you're in a relationship, and your partner or your husband, you call and they don't answer for like 20 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. Then you start making up stories. Oh, they're going to leave me. They have somebody. There's somebody at the office that they're dating. And you go around and around and have all these negative ruminations, and you make up all these distorted stories about whatever it is without any evidence whatsoever. All right. So you have no evidence to support the belief, but you just have these distortions of way of making up these stories because of this severe fear of abandonment. All right, guys. So these are some things that that can happen when you're struggling with this attachment style. And I hope you've learned something. Please, as I say, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. This is Christine, your relationship and mindset master doctor, and your leverage for change. Take care. Bye-bye.